What? I like soggy cereal. Leave me alone.
Wait, you like soggy cereal?
I do.
Gross. Oh my God. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
Wait, is it certain kinds of soggy cereal or just any
No, pretty
kind?
much any
Any
cereal.
flake-based
Really?
cereal you like
Flakes, yep.
soggy? No.
Oh,
Flakes,
oh.
corn checks, rice checks,
Oh,
Crispix.
No.
You name it, I like it soggy.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you prefer it
I
soggy?
like it soggy, ladies.
No, I mean I'll eat it, but I
Okay.
if it has gotten soggy, like I'm not.
You're down with
Like
that.
when people like are worried about pouring their milk too early. I don't worry about that.
Who worries about you fucking pour the milk, you eat it? What is the... Come on.
Well, like I'm the kind of person that would pour the milk in the cereal, then walk away, do something, and then come back and eat the cereal.
But wait, there's a bowl that has your milk in one part and then your cereal on top, and you can slowly bring your cereal down.
That's too much work,
Down to
man.
milk temperature.
Yes.
Uh,
So it's always
that's a lot of
crispy.
effort,
It is.
you know? And then there are those cretins who, like, pour the milk first and then put the cereal on top of it. What is that craziness?
I've never seen anybody do that.
You've seen
What?
It's like, what are you doing? Just fucking pour the cereal, pour the milk. There's one way to do this.
That's how my roommate does it.
Oh my god, that's so weird.
Oh my god.
I know.
My
I
roommate's
feel like,
gonna love this because he listens to the show.
see, for me, I feel like the cereal having that there is how you gauge how much milk to put in there.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly.
Everybody has their milk level.
Right.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Cereal is the milk line. It's the water line. It's how you
Yes.
figure this shit out.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I always put too much.
Uh,
I like putting a lot of milk in my cereal. What can
I
say?
do too, but like I eat it quickly enough so that it doesn't get soggy because I'm not a weirdo. So
Like some of us here.
yeah.
I wonder who.
Somewhere in the middle of Arizona, you painted a desert and called it my home. You made it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the movie podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. I'm Megan Kearns. I'm a freelance writer and film critic, editor of Bitchflix, and a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
My name is Dave Riedel. I write for Salt Lake City Weekly, Orlando Weekly, and I too am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
My name is Evan Crean. I'm editor for The Independent, co-chair of BAFCA, and co-author of your 80s movie guide to better living.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. This sexy voice brought to you by Scratchy Throat.
Do you have a cold?
I don't think so, but I've just,
Oh.
I don't know. My
Feel a
throat's
little-
been, eh.
Little
Little
something,
scratchy.
something.
Yeah.
That happens. A little tickle. All right. Well, now that we have health updates, this week we're going to talk about a couple of movies. We're going to talk about,
Talking about a few movies.
I'm counting a couple as three, but all right.
All right,
If we
yeah,
want to
all
get,
right,
if
no,
we want to get picky, all right, a few.
I mean, if I just
But-
want to go with the actual definition, that's okay too. You know?
Let's make a
How did I know you were going to be a stickler about that?
I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, Dave's going to say
You know what?
something.
I think this is why my wife has almost left me like a dozen times.
You really had to be right about that couple versus few argument, didn't you?
just yesterday, she was like, "Could I please finish a sentence?" I was like, I don't know.
You're like,
Sure.
maybe not. I'll flip a coin and see.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, anywho.
Yes. We have some movies to talk about.
We have some movies to talk about. We're going to talk about the Black Christmas remake.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about Cats, the musical adaptation. And we're going to talk about the latest Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
Mhm. Which is a horrible title.
Yeah, it really is. Also, it's like it has no bearing on anything. It's just like,
Right.
hey, let's tack this on, but we'll get to that.
We will get to that. So we're going to start off by talking about the Black Christmas. We're going to talk about the Black Christmas, which is a remake, and it's directed and co-written by Sofia Takal, who also did Always Shine, which I love so much. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, see it.
I
It's
need to.
fantastic.
That's weird. I wrote a movie called Never Shine. I wonder if they're at all similar.
They might be. You never know. And the film is also co-written by April Wolf, and it's about some sorority women at a college, and it's Christmas break, and some murders start happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they do.
Like they do. Oh, those murders.
Just trip, fall, and fell into murder.
Yes. Yes. And what's great about this, I mean, there's many, many things. I loved this. We'll just start by saying that. I absolutely loved this. This was fun. This was great. I'm so glad I went and saw this.
Did you love the Bob Clark 70s original?
I didn't see it.
Oh.
I know. I wanted to see it beforehand, and I didn't.
And I
Isn't
think
this
it was
the
yeah.
second remake, right? Didn't they
Yes.
do one in
Yes.
like a decade ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the second remake. I know. I haven't seen either, so I only had this one to go on.
Bob Clark, who also made A Christmas Story and Porky's, made Black Christmas.
Oh, my favorite movies.
Yeah. And Super Babies while we're keeping score.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
all right. That
Baby geniuses.
almost derailed me right there.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's
It's a diverse body of work.
It's a whole lot of yikes.
But this one is good.
This one is great. This one's a lot of fun, a lot of female empowerment. It's a commentary on rape culture, which, oh my god, I loved so much. There's so much. It's like oozing with feminism. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And it
love
looks like it stars the Imogen Poots.
It does star
And
the
how
Imogen
can you not love a
Poots.
movie that stars the Imogen Poots?
Yeah, she's great in it. So
And you get to say Imogen Poots.
you just want to keep saying Imogen Poots, I think.
Poots.
Imogen Poots.
Poots. But yeah, so this one was, and the other great, well, there's, like I said, a lot of great things about the film, but some great things are you see somebody get stabbed with an icicle.
Ooh.
You see people get
Nice.
strangled with Christmas lights.
Love it.
And then their dead bodies wrapped up in Christmas lights.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Did they plug in the Christmas lights and then have the dead body wrapped in lit lights?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You don't see them plug it in, but yes, but when somebody comes upon the dead body, they're lit lights. Yes. It's great. So, and it also, the Christmas lights imbue a nice glow in some of the scenes. So the cinematography is really great in this too. So there's a great scene where Imogen Poots is walking through a house because she knows there's an intruder, and she's walking very slowly and the camera's behind her, and her hair is kind of like pinky hued because you see the beautiful glow of the Christmas lights, and there's quite a few scenes like that, and I don't know, it just was very, very pretty to watch, as well as fun, as well as, suspenseful. And
Is it gory?
no, not super gory. So they cut out a lot of the gore because they wanted to make this PG-13, so it would be.
Oh, it's PG-13?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
that was a big thing, and April Wolf, the co-writer, went on social media and she was like, "Listen, I know a lot of people are complaining." She's like, "The reason we did this was to make this more accessible for teenage girls. We wanted teenage girls to see this. We want them to see a story where they feel empowered." Now, whether that's true or not, I mean, she is super feminist, so maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe they
kind
just
of a
want to
big
make
lie
more
to
money.
tell if it's not true.
Well,
Yeah.
right. I'm just saying,
So-
like, maybe the studio wanted to make more money, so they wanted to make it PG-13.
Probably that too.
Sure, it was probably in conjunction, in tandem, if you will. But yeah, I thought it was, because I was disappointed at first too. I was like, God damn it, I don't want to see a horror movie that's PG-13. I want an R. I want a hard R. But I don't really feel like it detracted from this. Like, could it have been gorier? Absolutely. Would I have liked it more? Maybe. But I still really enjoyed the film tremendously. It's a lot of fun. And it's dealing with some incredibly weighty issues. So Imogen Poots is a rape survivor, and you find this out pretty early on that a frat guy raped her a couple of years ago. And she's still reeling from the trauma of it. So she's dealing with PTSD. She's having flashbacks and nightmares. And her friends have been incredibly supportive of her, although she feels like no one believed her. So maybe they weren't so supportive, but they're supportive now. And she and her sorority sisters, a few of them, go to a frat party and they start singing the song. And they're wearing like these sexy kind of like Christmas dresses, like red dresses with like white trim. And they're singing like sexy, like about let's have sex. And then the lyrics turn to becoming a condemnation of date rape and of assault. And it's great. And so after that, and even before that, some of the women in the sorority houses start getting these really weird, creepy texts, like just kind of like calling them out, like what's the difference between a pig what's the difference between a pig and a sorority girl? They both squeal before they die, and like
Oh my.
yeah, and like just kind of creepy things like, you know, I'll see you later, and like, you know, you'll be begging for mercy, and just kind of these creepy things. And another thing that comes up a couple of times in the film is how women like have keys in their hands, and like they make little like key claws so they can protect themselves. And I appreciated seeing that because I was like, oh my God, I was taught that at such an early age in order to protect myself.
Yeah, every woman I know does that.
Exactly.
Well, not every, I don't know. A lot.
Right, I'm sure there are some who do not.
Yeah.
But it's just something that you're kind of just ingrained with. Like you're taught that to do that. So I like to see that. And also there's mention of a diva cup within the first few minutes of the film, and how one of the women is, her diva cup is missing, and someone's like, how do you lose a diva cup? And she's like, with abandon. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you.
Does it resurface later? Is that a plot point? Like someone trips over a diva cup or something?
Someone doesn't trip over it, but it is a plot point later in the film, which is great.
I'm kind of digging this movie's vibe so far.
Yes, yeah. And there's a super feminist activist who's trying to get a professor fired for only having white male writers and like teaching them in his class. And it's Carrie Elwes, who I always enjoy.
Always good
He's
to
good
see
at playing
him.
a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He can play a dick with the best of them.
Yeah, and he's a good dick in this too. But yeah.
Sorry, a good dick. Okay.
I know. Yeah, but there are some great conversations because Imogen Poots isn't so like, as feminist as she is, she's not like rah rah, I want to take, you know, down the patriarchy, whereas her friend is like, no, we have to, you know, speak out and we have to fight back. And so there's this great, you know, there are these great conversations, and there's this camaraderie between all the women, and one of the women has like a falling out with her boyfriend, who starts surprisingly being like kind of an asshole all of a sudden, mysteriously. And that ends up being a plot point later. And she's like, you know, I love my boyfriend, but I just really prefer to hang out with you guys. And like, so it's just kind of nice to see this like female friendship and female bonding. And then what ends up happening is there's a supernatural element. And there's like this
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I was not expecting that. And I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about that. But it's like this weird ritualistic cult that's like turning men into alpha, like basically MRA like assholes, and
MRE, men's rights activists.
correct.
For those not hip to the lingo or visiting the Reddit boards.
Yeah, that's true. And how women are supposed to be subservient and men are supposed to be alphas, and they're taking back their power because women have upset the balance of power, and they're tired of being persecuted. And yeah, so it's
The wanting equal rights, is that taking power away, men? I don't know. The word equal is in there.
Really just think about it.
Gonna leave
Take
that
a
one
moment.
there.
Yeah.
Let it hang.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's happening, and then there's a great fight scene at the climax of the film where all the like sorority sisters kind of show up, and because it's basically this one sorority house where like Imogen Poots and her friends, several of them are like fighting off. They think it's one intruder, but it's like a whole army of intruders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's different from
yeah.
the 70s. I haven't seen the one from like 2009 or whatever, but yeah.
But it's different. Yeah. But then you also see that there's another sorority house, and they're also fighting off intruders too. So
like all the sororities are sieged by these attackers.
Exactly. And they're all kind of banding together. And so it's just this great kind of feel good moment. Like all the women are coming together against the, you know, patriarchal misogynists.
But at the same time, it's super fucking creepy that a bunch of guys would be like, hey, bitches, we're going to fucking kill you all. That's fucking horrifying.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie. But I mean, I love that it's taking, you know, a topic of, you know, misogyny and rape culture and you know, exploring it in that way and turning it into a horror. I mean, it already is horrifying, but kind of taking a different look at it through the horror genre. And it's also just fun. Like, I know it doesn't necessarily sound like it would be fun because it's such a weighty topic, but it is. There's something very satisfying about this film.
Well, if there's an element of taking the power back.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
like in Your Next. I like.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
Your Next is the best.
I mean,
It's so good.
there's something. It's so creepy and gory and awesome, but there's also just that excitement of seeing somebody take the power back away from their attackers and just kill the shit
And
out
do
of
it with
them.
an Australian accent. So
That always helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, Your Next is amazing. But yeah, but it's also interesting because in this film, the characters make, for the most part, pretty smart choices. Like a lot of times, or in some, not as well written horror films, the characters are making these dumb choices and you're like, why the hell are they doing that?
yeah.
The characters seem to be making pretty smart choices in this, and Imogen Poots thinks her friend is missing, and she is. And so she goes to the campus security, and like the guy, it's this dude who does not believe her at all, and he's like, oh, well, usually women are just hanging out with their boyfriends, and he just is, so doesn't believe her, and she's like, you can tell she's like triggered all over again that someone isn't believing her about a woman in danger. And I love that it's doing this. Like, I love that it's showing, what happens to so many women on a kind of regular basis. So
If it gets just one man to think about it differently,
then it's a success.
mission accomplished.
That's right. Yeah, but it also, I was gonna say, I don't know if I feel like it's more for kind of, a female audience, but not necessarily. I think it could be for anyone. Anyway, it's great. Go see it.
How did they kill everybody? The women.
How did the women kill everybody?
Yeah.
How do
I
you
mean,
think
I'm
they did?
assuming
No,
they kill everybody.
They
do.
mobilize.
They do. So it looks like Imogen Poots is about to, not make it.
Get
and
an axe
then
to the forehead or something.
something like that. And all the ladies show up with like bows and arrows and like, I think like axes and stuff, and just start like beating the shit out of the guys. And then, so how the ritual is happening and how the dudes are turning other dudes into misogynists. It's the
Well, they're just being like, come on. I mean, really, is it? Are you sure that they should have all the things we have?
right.
That's
right?
all you got to do.
But in this film, it's from the spirit of the college founder, who you find out earlier was like a sexist and a racist, and he owned slaves and things like that.
Oh, Thomas
So-
Jefferson.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
all right.
Exactly.
All
So,
right.
yeah,
It's UVA.
correct.
Got it.
So they're ingesting or something. They're like putting on them this like black ink, which is like his spirit or something. So Imogen Poots takes the bust where his spirit is coming out of, and she smashes it. And then one of her friends like throws a lantern down on Carrie Elwes, so he lights on fire.
Awesome.
And like basically the whole room sets on fire, and then they lock them in the room.
Oh, cool.
And they end up.
Oh,
yeah.
man, burning to death. That's got to be a hard way to
Yes.
go.
Yep.
But what's really
Just like in the movie Ma. Recent memory.
That's right. It's funny though, thinking about what this film reminds me of. The very end reminded me of Midsummer, because
Yeah.
the last shot is Imogen Poots like just kind of smiling and smirking as like you can see the kind of like glow of the flames like reflected on her. And it's like she's finally not only reclaimed her power, but she's gotten peace because she's murdered her attacker.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I loved this. I thought it was great.
I wonder if that would spark a whole different kind of trauma, though, in real life. Now that you've killed someone,
Yeah,
if you'd be like, oh my God, now I'm traumatized twice because I don't want to fucking kill people.
I mean, you might.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
you definitely might. I mean, and that's the other thing too, is that it doesn't necessarily feel cathartic to conquer or kill your abuser or attacker.
Hear
or
that,
rapist.
Stallone? Okay. Rambo. Okay.
But yes, so
Well, I am interested to see it now, but I think
Yeah.
you should see the recommendation.
should, yeah.
The Bob Clark Black Christmas. Now it's Margot Kidder is the main.
yeah, that's why I want to see her, because I
Yeah.
love Margot Kidder.
You're not missing the 2000s one. I think
Did
it's
you
from like
see it?
2005 or 6 or 7. It's somewhere in there. It's not that good.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're not missing much. It's your run-of-the-mill kind of slasher movie. I would say nothing to write home about.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I do like a good slasher, like Slumber Party Massacre. I love.
Oh, I love the Slumber Party
Yeah.
Massacre.
This kind
And it's
of-
short, which
it's
is great.
so short. In a way, this kind of reminded me of that. Like I mean, it's different stylistically. You know, this is much longer, but there's something about it. Like, I think the women in the house and kind of banding together and kind of subverting expectations that reminded me of each other.
Cool.
But yeah, Slumber Party Massacre is a great film too.
All
Anyway,
right.
but yes, go see it. All right. Now we're going to go from a film I loved to what might possibly be the worst film of the year.
And so late in the year,
I
too.
know.
You went so long without watching it.
Yeah, but it snuck in under the wire. And that would be the musical adaptation of Cats.
Oh my God! When I saw the trailer for this, I thought that somebody had like made a fake trailer, gone into the booth, and been like, "Check this shit out. We're gonna make all these fucking people think that they made Cats." And then so I'm watching it, and then fucking James Corden shows up. I'm like, "Oh my God! It's sincere. It's sincere. What?"
Yes.
So
Yes, it is.
yeah.
So.
I mean, Cats was never a good idea. I don't understand how it lasted on Broadway as long as it did. I mean, what, like 20 years? How long was it? 25 years?
Something like that. Yeah, it's incredibly long running.
8 shows a week for that touring companies?
Yes. Well, there were I can tell you, since I was just at the press screening tonight, there were a lot of Cat stands in the audience who were cheering and clapping.
And meowing.
No, I was the only one meowing. I was disappointed there was not more meowing from the audience.
But like the angry, like...
like before they go full on. Like.
Yeah, and then you just hear like a clanging from like a garbage can in the alley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to tell you the plot. There really is none. Other than...
Isn't it about an old cat who looks like Eartha Kitt who's dying? Isn't that what it's about?
I mean, kind of.
That's like, well, that's Memory, I know.
Yeah, that's who sings Memory. But basically, it's about all these cats who are going to this ball, they call it, but it's like this gathering where an old cat is going to pick one of them to be reborn and have a new life. And that's it. And really, it's just an excuse to have songs that introduce cats, different cats, and talk about their characteristics. And that's it. That is literally the musical. That is literally the film. The entire plot. That's it.
I couldn't think of a worse way to spend my time.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. And I've listened to the music of Cats many years ago, and I never liked it. So.
Well, who likes Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Right. Very good point. Yeah. I mean, I do like, I'm not going to lie, I do kind of like Phantom of the Opera.
No.
I do. I went and saw it on Broadway.
Yeah, it has its
the
moments.
Stage production is beautiful.
The chandelier falling is cool.
It is. It's great. That alone was worth the price of admission. A couple of the songs I do like, but that's it. Like, I don't like Andrew Lloyd Webber as a regular, repertoire. But I can so see why Rachel Bloom relentlessly made fun of Cats in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which I love. But yeah, I mean, Cats is terrible. Like, it's terrible. And I love musical theater more than I can say.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I mean, you love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend,
I
so
do.
usually it's not a long leap.
That is true.
You know?
But this is just so bad. And like laughably bad, but not even fun. I was just bored to tears. And since it's Tom Hooper who directed it, you see some close up of snots, like Jennifer
when they're
Hudson.
sad singing.
Yeah, it's
Jennifer
fucking extreme
Hudson.
close-ups.
Yeah.
Why?
It's not even that close of it's not even that much of an extreme close up. It's just, but the snot is still just like pouring down her face.
Gross.
And it's like, yeah, and it's like, so.
Do you see snot pouring down Ray Winstone's face? Is he like, oh, I'm so sad all of a sudden. I'm a cat, and now I'm gonna go to the litter box in the sky. No,
I got boogies in my nose.
yeah, I got boogie. Mr. Hooper, come in for I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeMille.
Yeah. This would have been a much more interesting movie. It was directed by Toby Hooper.
Oh, yes. So it's funny that you...
Toby Hooper's cat.
So it's funny that you say that because there was a whole David Cronenberg conversation before this started. Like, why isn't Cronenberg directing?
Oh, that would be amazing. I would go see that movie.
David
Right.
Lynch's Cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I would see anyone else's Cats.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the music's bad. It's bad. Oh my God. There's also There's this weird thing where Idris Elba plays a cat who keeps
He
disappearing.
plays a cat?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He's got green contacts and the cat ears and all of it.
I'm just trying to picture this in my head.
Yeah, don't. It's
Well,
just
he's done so much makeup at
Yeah.
movies. It's not actually all
That's
that
true.
hard to picture him with green eyes and cat ears.
But anyway, it's just weird. And he like disappears, like literally, like he snaps his finger and he disappears into smoke, and then he makes other cats disappear into smoke. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't make any sense. And he wants to win the contest, so he's kidnapping cats, and it's just bizarre. And then at the very end of the film, Judi Dench, who plays the older cat.
What?
Oh yeah, she's in it. Ian McKellen too.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
And you see him lick from a bowl, like lapping it up.
Perfect.
What is
Perfect.
happening?
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
But Judi Dench breaks the fourth wall to talk to the audience about cats and how cats are like humans, but don't do this with them and don't do that, and they don't like to be familiar and call them by their name. And this is going on for like 4 or 5 minutes. It's
Good
so
God.
bizarre.
Do you remember from the 80s the Cats anti-smoking ad?
Oh,
It was like one of the Broadway
yes.
casts, and it was like,
yes.
cats have 9 lives, humans have 1, or whatever, like fucking
Oh,
thing.
My
Yeah.
I
God.
had forgotten about that, but yes, I remember.
Yeah.
It sounds like to call this movie a train wreck would be generous.
Oh, it is. I think it's an abomination. I mean, it's like I didn't think I was really going to like this, but I tried to go in with an open mind because, Jennifer Hudson's an amazing singer. There are other great singers in this. And, it's boring and it's tedious and it's weird.
The
And
cats
not
are
good,
called the
weird.
Jellicles?
Yeah, I still don't know what the fuck a jellicle is. I
Cats
still
made
don't
of
know.
jelly? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Fish head flavored jelly.
It's a particular kind of cat because the whole I will tell you there's sort of a weird other than what
Like
I've
a
said.
cat
there's
hierarchy?
I think so, but there's kind of a premise like we see the film through the eyes of this new cat. Like she's not a kitten, but she's young and she was abandoned. And she says to Judi Dench, she's like, "I'm not a jellicle." And so clearly it's a type of cat that not all cats are. But I don't know what the fuck it means still
Yeah.
after watching 2 hours of this movie. So anyway.
This sounds like I dodged several bullets.
Yeah,
like
me too.
I keep thinking of more things, and it just, I mean, there's so many. Oh my God. So Rebel Wilson is also in this.
Of course.
And James Corden.
Because
and
now she has to sing and everything.
yes. So the reason why I mentioned the two of them is they are plus size individuals. And of course there are fat jokes. Of course we're going to have Rebel Wilson do weird things with her body because, she's a fat woman. And it's just so cringeworthy and annoying on top of everything else that's cringy and annoying in this film.
Okay. What's the
yeah.
big ending? Who wins the contest? The scampy cat who just came in out of
No,
nowhere?
Grisabella, who sings Memories.
Oh,
She-
Judi Dench wins?
No, that's Deuteronomy.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
No, Jennifer Hudson. So somebody speculated that they think that Jennifer Hudson's character may have been a sex worker, like a prostitute or something, because she is shunned by the other cats because she went off with Idris Elba, and now she's living on the streets.
Who wouldn't go off with Idris Elba? Jesus.
Mm.
That's
Fine
Meow.
looking
That's
individual.
Ooh, meow, indeed. So she sings her memory heart out, and then Judi Dench is like, "You get a new life." But here's the quote unquote new life: she flies away in a hot air balloon.
And then falls into the ocean
Who knows?
and dies.
Who knows? Probably.
This sounds horrible.
Next.
It's so
I
bad.
feel like I'd rather clean out a litter box than see this movie.
that would feel more satisfying because
At least it would be productive.
Having
exactly.
been a person who has had many cats in his life, I think I'd watch this before I'd volunteer to clean out a litter box. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, I know it's disgusting business, which is why I said
mean,
I
it
think I'd
is.
rather do that than
Yeah.
watch this movie.
Yeah, I would
At least
too.
that'll be over in a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's true. You'll be done in like 4 minutes.
Correct. I want 2 hours of those 2 hours of my life back. Like I really don't know what I watched. Like I was like, wow, I feel traumatized.
Okay. Well, maybe we should just go into the trauma.
yeah, let's just keep it moving.
Keep it dramatic.
Oh, ouch. All right, so let's talk about Rise of Skywalker.
I apologize. It's not traumatic. It's just bad. It's a bad movie.
Yeah, it's not good. It's certainly disappointing.
It's got some issues.
It's certainly
lot of
disappointing. It feels like a very disappointing conclusion to this arc, this trilogy.
Is this how people felt when they saw Jedi after seeing Empire? Now, I know Empire didn't make as much money as either Star Wars or Jedi, but everyone kind of acknowledges now it is the best movie of the original
hands
trilogy.
down.
Yeah, and if you're right, like we are, you would probably argue that
Last
Jedi is the best of this trilogy.
I love Force Awakens too.
Oh, I don't have a problem with Force Awakens. I just think Last Jedi is... See, and I can't believe I'm going to be talking about ideas in the context of a Star Wars movie. But Last Jedi...
There's lots of ideas.
Last Jedi has ideas that are different from other Star Wars movies' ideas.
That is true. It is very different.
And it's just kind of like, you know what? We're going to go over here and we're just going to turn left 45 degrees instead of going on the straight line. And then fucking J.J. Abrams comes along and says, well, the fans hated all the girl shit in Last Jedi, so fuck them all.
So let's retcon that shit.
Yeah, like Rose is in this movie for what, like 9 minutes, maybe?
If that, even.
She's wearing a
Jesus.
Ghostbusters uniform.
Right, and they're like, let's make her hair look crappy, and let's make her just look dumpy, and like let's just have her in the movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, and
like,
if you're the woman who's playing her, whose name I can't remember,
Kelly
of course.
Marie Tran.
yeah,
Her, are you just like, when you get the script from J.J. Abrams, you're like, all right, I know I signed on for the second one, J.J., and contractually I'm obligated to do this, and I'm a professional, so I'll do it. But what the shit?
Yes.
You know, do you do that? Do you pull him aside and you're like, Mr. Director fucking guy who ruins everything he touches? I mean, regarding Henry, the first, I think it's the first produced screenplay that J.J. Abrams wrote. I'm not sure if it's his first,
one
whatever.
of, yeah, if it's not the first, it's one
But
of.
the whole premise of that movie is that getting shot in the head makes you a better person. Okay? So this is the guy we are entrusting to the fucking Star Wars brain camp.
I mean, but
Not that it's big ideas going on, but
Well,
still.
I mean, but I loved Force Awakens, and he did Force Awakens, so
I think it was a good return to.
Yes.
It was a good return. It was a
Yes.
good
Yes.
level setting, resetting,
Yes.
whatever you want to say.
Right.
But coming back and doing another movie that just feels like regurgitation of the same stuff we've been seeing, I think is the most disappointing thing. Like once, okay, twice, really? Like especially
Right.
after you had a movie that did go off in some new directions in a good way.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, we are in the minority about. I think, like a lot of people, we're not in the minority.
No, well,
A lot of
critics
people
love.
hate
Yes.
Last Jedi. And I would argue it's because they're lame. But, you know,
Or sexist.
or
you know?
sexist or whatever. I
Who
mean,
knows?
pick a
Take
reason.
your pick.
You know, there are noticeably fewer women in this movie.
Yeah,
And-
without question.
And no, I mean, you know, the center of the story is Rey, so you know
Of
you've
course.
got to have a
You
strong
can't get around that.
female character.
No, but I so there were a lot of things I liked about the film and possibly even loved.
Mhm.
But where the film absolutely just outraged me is I loved that in Last Jedi her parents are nobody.
I loved that.
I
Yeah.
love that it's the powers from within her. That's just who she is. She's nobody. I love that. And they fucking ruined that in this by making her Palpatine's granddaughter. Like, it's so fucking
And
stupid.
by the way, where does he even come from? I know I disclosure. I missed the first 20 minutes or so because I
This
was
wasn't
stuck
in the first 20
goddamn
minutes, by the
traffic.
way.
Yeah,
Oh, I know
no,
this is the end.
yeah.
But somebody told me that Palpatine's just like there at the beginning of the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
and he's like,
Kylo Ren
I didn't die in Jedi.
It's because
finds
of
the
Sith
secret
magic.
planet. Yeah, he finds a secret planet and he goes down into the depths of this temple where, yeah, Emperor Palpatine is hooked up to some machines,
Yep, hanging
but he's
out.
still alive. And
So
you're
he
just-
didn't dissipate into blue lightning like at the end of Jedi or whatever.
Well,
that
he
Right.
was.
did, but they brought him back.
Who brought him back?
The Sith,
How?
I don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
I
It was
don't-
Sith magic. They never really go beyond that. Like,
no,
who
that's
actually
never
brought him
discussed
back?
how
Right.
he's back or
Right.
why.
Right.
It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And why go back to that well?
Right.
Why
Right.
go back
No.
to the well? I know.
Exactly.
So as a kid, I read a lot of the Star Wars. I guess would you call them expanded universe
Yeah.
books? a lot of those books. And yeah, that was a plot line, is that the Emperor comes back in some capacity. I don't remember why or how.
Okay.
But that was a whole thing, and then they kill him again. And I get that maybe you want to do something from that, but they also, Disney threw all that stuff out anyway. So why go back to that well?
Right. And it's, I mean, what I love about, one of the things I love the most about The Last Jedi is the fascist imagery. That's what the First Order is. They're essentially, fascism all over again. So you don't need Palpatine. You don't need to go back. You can show that this is a threat, that, that there always will be hateful people, and you need to, stand up and fight back against them. And you don't need Palpatine for that.
Right. I mean, in this one, you get straight up Nazi imagery. I mean, Palpatine's thing is called the Final Order.
Exactly.
I mean, final solution. Anyone else see the parallel?
Absolutely. Yep. I wrote that down.
So, okay. So we all agree it sucked.
I liked elements about it.
I liked elements. Sure.
The action scenes I thought were really exciting, and they were well choreographed.
Yes.
They were interesting. They were fun. I mean, it never gets old to me seeing the Millennium Falcon maneuvering down, tight corridors, having TIE fighters chasing behind it, or lightsaber fights in precarious situations. That stuff is, or fighters facing giant fleets that they have no chance of winning against. All that stuff is good.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the thing I realized while watching this, when I was kind of disappointed and then outright angry about halfway through. I was like, even if this pisses me off and ends up being complete shit, I still I still enjoy this, because I enjoy being in this universe, and I enjoy being with these characters and just kind of spending time with them. So I still found it satisfying in that way, because I just love these characters in this world.
I don't know. It's weird. I was just so massively disappointed. All of us, we were all kind of disappointed.
Yeah, the story, you just keep thinking,
is this
moment to moment, this is the way they decided to go with this? It's just riddled with retcons, which I'm sure was pissing you off.
I didn't even really think about it that much. It was just more what I thought about was this is dumb. This is boring. This is this doesn't make any sense, and talking about things that make sense in the Star Wars universe and whatever. But the same, I don't know if it really pissed me off as much, but I found it deeply disappointing that all of a sudden, oh no, yes, you are Palpatine's granddaughter. When I said your parents were nothing, they chose to be nothing because, fuck off with that fucking bullshit. Lazy fucking fanboy sucking off bullshit.
Yep.
There is nothing out there now at this point, even after Solo and Rogue One, that can destroy the monster that is the Star Wars universe. It's just Disney owns it. It's huge. You could literally go out and be like, you know what? We're going to make this an experiment. We're going to make this an experimental Belgian film from the 70s, except it's going to be Star Wars.
That would be amazing.
And people would be like, I'm confused, but here's my $12.50.
Yeah, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, that is what, and everyone would bitch about it on the internet, and then, somebody at Disney would get fired, and then they would fucking make another one in 3 years.
Well, the funny thing is, too, talking about, catering to, asshole fanboys is, wait a minute, there's a large contingency on the internet who want to see, for example, Finn and Poe together. They want to see a queer relationship. No one is catering to that.
There was a girl kiss at the end.
Oh my God, for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck
it was
that
in the
shit.
background.
Fuck that shit. I want my queer representation front and center.
I mean,
and I want it now.
A character who didn't even really have a role in the whole thing.
Exactly.
She was she was one of the advisors to Leia.
God.
One of the commanders. Yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Agreed.
It's bullshit. And
Agreed.
I want it. And oh my God. And we can't escape the heteronormativity of Rey and fuckface kissing. Anyway, Kylo Ren.
Yes, that does happen.
Which actually doesn't bother me too much.
I think
Goes
that
back
happened
to being
more.
Ben Skywalker.
Right.
Yeah, I think that happened more out of just oh my God, you sacrificed everything to save me, smooch.
Right. No, it didn't really bother me. But I'm just saying, if we're going to cater to fans, why not cater to the awesome fans who want some, queerness?
Or something interesting.
Exactly. Why are we catering to the assholes who can't handle that Rey is an amazing fighter?
Yeah. And I was saying this after the movie. You have this. There's a scene early on where they end up in quicksand, and as they're going to the quicksand, Finn looks at Rey and says, I have to tell you, or I never told you
Yep.
whatever. And then they harp on it several times. What was that secret you were going to tell her? What did you have to tell her? They never fucking do anything with that. It literally never comes up again. He never says what he wants to say to her.
No, but I'm not gonna lie, I love that actually.
Oh, I just thought I thought of two more things that pissed me off. The fucking transport thing where they think Chewie dies. Cheap, cheap, cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
knew that was what was going to happen. They're not going to kill off somebody like Chewie so unceremoniously.
Yeah.
They're not George Lucas.
I was gonna say, it's the switching of the baskets in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
But you know
We've
what?
seen
In
it a
Raiders of the
million
Lost
times
Ark, it was
before.
fun.
No, right, exactly. But I mean, that's what I mean. It was well executed. It was well done.
This movie is a vampire in the sense that it sucks the fun out of Star Wars. All right? So, and here's the other thing. Rey takes the catamaran or whatever she does across the ocean of shit. Like the ocean that like no sane person ever would cross in a boat. And she's like, I'm going by myself. Fine. And then 10 minutes later, she's fucking leaping 75 feet in the air to fight Kylo Ren. Why didn't you just do that the first time? I know his energy brings out something in you, blah, blah, whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing, too, is she's climbing around on wreckage from the Death Star. Didn't the Death Star completely explode? Why would there be debris that fell to a planet?
it looked like it fell.
I
It
thought
looked
it
like
did.
it exploded.
I thought that when the explosion happened, everything was basically vaporized. Why would there be debris that would have fallen from space where there's no gravity onto a planet where
Well,
there
it
is
could have
gravity?
it could have
That, but
fallen into
I-
get sucked in by the planet's gravity.
That's true. Ooh, good point. I thought it actually did fall. I didn't think it exploded. But anyway, I'd have to go back and
Yeah,
read or watch.
I'd have to go back
Yeah,
and
I'd have
watch
to
it,
go
and
back.
that shit ain't
That's the
happening.
least of our concerns.
That is
though.
absolutely the least. I will say a few. I want to say a few things that I did really enjoy about the film.
There's one thing I really enjoyed, but you go
Oh,
first.
I was like, do you want to go first?
No. Well, there's only one, but you.
You'll savor it.
Yeah.
Okay. There were a few scenes that I loved the imagery of. I loved the scene of Rey in the Death Star wreckage, whether or not it should have been there or not. I did love that. There was something very hauntingly beautiful about it. The scene where Rey and Kylo Ren are both have their arms outstretched and trying to stop the transporter that Chewie is on. Well, he's not really on it, but they think he's on, and there's a long
Okay,
shot
that
of
was coolish.
Yeah, I loved the visuals of that. And what I also really like, because I love a good well, maybe not good, but I like, metaphors and symbology and everything. And I noticed that water was perpetually used throughout the film, and it just kept making me think of like birth and rebirth and
peeing.
peeing.
Yeah, that's what it made me think
There's
of. I had to
that
pee
too.
twice.
I did. Oh my God, I did have to pee during
Yeah,
this.
actually.
I
come
know.
to
I
think
was
of
like,
it.
I never leave to pee in a
Maybe you shouldn't have noticed that water
Maybe
so
I
much.
shouldn't have. I know. But I was like, but again, like I love the imagery, but it just, beautiful imagery and compelling symbolic imagery is great, but you need some depth to back it up. And unfortunately, this is missing that. And like, I always think an identity crisis or an identity film exploring your identity is interesting or can be. But haven't we already explored this with Rey?
Yeah.
Right.
The other two films?
She confronted it in Last Jedi, and so let's move on. Let's not
Right.
literally have an entire movie which is based around Emperor Palpatine's plot to get her to come so that she becomes the next.
Right.
So, I mean, we've seen all this crap before.
Yeah, it mirrors so much of Return of the Jedi.
It
like,
really
so
did.
much.
But and Return of the Jedi, when I watch it as an adult, I'm kind of like, okay, now I understand why George Lucas says the Star Wars movies are for children.
Yes.
Because this is just full of like fucking Ewoks. I mean, give me a break.
Oh, but they're so cute.
Yeah, we did get a Wicked sighting, didn't we?
We did. We got
Yeah.
2 Ewoks and 2 Porgs.
But
Yeah.
but then you're watching this, and it's just kind of like they took all the crummy moments from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All this stuff where they're chasing MacGuffins, basically, because Rey needs to
So
get
many
to the
MacGuffins.
secret planet
Yes.
that the Sith have, and she needs a Wayfinder device, but to get the Wayfinder, she needs the knife.
Dagger.
And the knife has an inscription that C-3PO can read, but it's in Sith, so he can't translate it. So they gotta take him to a droid specialist to extract the memory.
Who, of course, Force
to
is
do
cute and kind of looks like E.T.
But to do that, they've got to erase his memory, and so C-3PO has to start over, which is dumb because why not just back up his memory? It take 2 seconds to do.
Which they do.
Which they do because then he goes back to R2-D2 and
Right.
like inserts some old memory, which has just got some gaps in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Okay,
there's just so many dumb choices, just
Yeah.
thing to thing, and things that could have been really cool but really weren't. The idea that Luke has died and so Leia is continuing Rey's training and
Yes,
she's the
I
Jedi
love
Master.
that.
I thought that was going to be
that.
so cool, and they never did anything
No.
with that.
Well, it's
No.
kind of hard to do that when your lead actor's dead.
Yes, but
No, that's very true. But I still feel like if you're a strong enough writer, you can kind of work around that. Like I don't know. For instance, I'm not saying this is my idea is going to be a great one, but why not have Rey talk more about her training with Leia? Or have
show her doing exercises and
Yes.
just say to somebody, "This is the thing that
Leia told me
you
about.
see
or
her
taught
doing
me.
some of this training in the
Yes.
beginning, and then there's not really anything, and then Leia uses her last breaths of life to use the Force to contact Kylo Ren to startle him,
Yeah.
basically.
Which also, I mean, and I know obviously like there, the Force is all about balance. So if somebody, good dies, a lot of times somebody good dies, so
Right.
somebody else good can survive and all of that. But why is it taking all of her energy to contact him? She's
Right.
a fucking badass, powerful Jedi who
Yeah.
we saw fly through space in the last one. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Which is one of the things that pissed the fanboys off, if you recall.
Oh, I
her
do.
flying through space.
Oh, I do indeed. But yes, I know you obviously have to work around the fact that unfortunately Carrie Fisher has passed away, but the choices don't make sense. It
Well,
doesn't make sense.
And they use CG to create a scene where they explain that Leia also had a lightsaber. They use CG for that scene to have him. And this annoyed me. It's a weird thing to be annoyed about. The idea of part of the training is you wear the helmet with the blast shield down. They reintroduced that idea. So Rey does that during part of her training. And then they flash back to a moment where Luke and Leia are using the blast shield things and having a lightsaber fight.
Also, by the way, why did Leia decide to forego her lightsaber because she had a vision her son was going to die or her son was going to...
It's dumb. It doesn't make
Whatever.
any sense.
Yeah,
that could have
it's
been
so
really
ridiculous.
cool.
Yeah.
But wait, why did they make that decision?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you're gonna go with 2 lightsabers, and now you can give one to Ben.
And that was cool.
That
when
was
when she
cool.
hid the lightsaber behind her back.
I loved
and he put
that.
his hand back and he's like, lightsaber. Because they have figured out that they are of the same mind, more or less.
So they can
Yes.
share. They can share items essentially.
Yeah, across,
Space and
That
Space
was
and
one
time.
of the coolest scenes in the movie is when
Oh,
they were
that was
having a lightsaber
great.
fight between 2 locations,
Yes.
and they were flashing back and forth between
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's quarters where Rey is on the ship and on the ground where he is.
Yeah, the editing was superb in that.
Wasn't superb in a lot of other places, but okay.
No,
but-
just that scene.
Well, right. That's one of those scenes like you must edit it correctly, otherwise it just won't make sense.
No.
Spatially.
Right.
Also, I've been reading all this stuff. Oh, Carrie Russell, she's in this movie. What? No, she's in this movie for what? 14 minutes maybe, and all you see are her eyes.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, there's that.
Well, you hear her voice, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but like, does anybody recognize Carrie Russell's voice?
I recognized a voice, but I didn't put it together.
No,
that
I
was
didn't
Carrie
either.
Russell.
I knew it was familiar, but that's all I could say.
Yeah.
So she does, her eyes are rather lovely and they look like hers, and so here's the other thing that, like, one of the many things that pissed me off. So I like the lightsaber thing when she puts the lightsaber, okay. And then the thing though, all of a sudden, Kylo Ren is just like, he's like, I'm a good guy. Like Leia's like, hey, Ben, stop being a dick. Rey stabs him to death. Then she uses the Force to heal him, which I actually kind of appreciated that.
Oh, I like.
I liked you seeing different Force powers. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
agreed.
Also,
that's
that
a cool thing.
that Rey was just like, I'm conflicted, but I must save you because I'm that kind of person, you know?
Right.
But then he's just like, hey, vision of Han Solo, my dad coming to see me. I am a good guy now, but I don't know if I can do it. And then Harrison Ford is like, I've got a deep voice. And then Ben is like, okay, I'm Ben Skywalker again. Or Ben Solo, I guess his name would be. And then he flies off and he's like, but I have long hair, so I'm punk rock. You know, whatever.
I'm still emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the thing that I never understood in Return of the Jedi what made Vader, renounce all his power to all of a sudden say. I guess seeing his son tortured, he's like, okay, I'm gonna save him. But it felt for Kylo Ren like there wasn't that kind of thing, or if it was gonna happen, it would have happened sooner.
Right.
So
would have happened at the end of the last movie.
Right, exactly.
And now he's in the beginning, in the opening crawl, which, by the way, makes no fucking sense. I read it and I thought to myself, what?
You didn't like where it said the dead speak?
Yeah. So, yeah, the whole idea is that Kylo Ren is just running around the galaxy murdering anybody who will be a threat to his power.
Yeah.
So how do you get from that to later in the movie him suddenly renouncing all of these things?
Right. That's the thing. Yeah, it was an absurd leap. It made no sense.
Yeah.
He did not earn that turn at all.
Agreed. And
But you earned that rhyme.
Yes, you did.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
I'm a poet, and I know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give this 1.5 stars out of 4.
Wait. What was the one thing you liked? Was it the lightsaber?
It was the
thing?
lightsaber.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I really thought that was, I mean, I'm not going to say, ingenious or anything, but it was just a good use of their whole, like, simpatico
Yes,
thing.
Absolutely.
It's like, if you, in case you didn't figure it out, these two are connected in a way. And, that, the whole thing with her parentage, the more I think about it, just makes me so mad. Because I was like, I thought it was so cool that she was just some fucking orphan.
I loved that.
I thought that was great.
It
It's
was
like,
great.
Because the idea is like, hey, anybody can have the Force.
Exactly. And now it's like, oh no, you can only have the Force if you're Palpatine or fucking
Right.
Skywalker.
Anybody
Yeah.
can
That's
like
it.
make a lot of money in America as long as their parents are rich. No, you fucking like in 1850 you went out west and died on the Oregon Trail, but maybe you ended up in California and struck gold. Okay, so
Maybe you made it to Sacramento.
maybe you did. Whereas this movie is just like, I said, this is fucking ridiculous, but I said this afterwards to Chris and Evan, is like, okay, so if The Last Jedi is Barack Obama, then Rise of Skywalker is Donald Trump.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Trump? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not... It's not such a ridiculous stretch, considering that apparently all of the power, in the world comes from a creepy old white dude. So
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just thought about it being lame that they brought back Palpatine.
Oh.
You know?
Creepy old white dude who feeds on your hate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, who
Gee,
does
I wonder
that
where I've
like?
seen that before. And you know what? You could say like, oh, totally, J.J. Abrams was going for that. No, he wasn't. You
No.
didn't fucking
No.
think about
No,
that.
he wasn't going. For
No, definitely not going for that. But it is creepy how many Trump, I don't know what the right term is. There's so many situations in pop culture now where I see a character that's basically Trump or a stand-in for Trump. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
creepy how often I notice it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rise of Skywalker. Oh, and then okay, so the name of the fucking Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
So she goes back to Tatooine. Not back to. She's never been to Tatooine.
She's never been to Tatooine.
Right.
Rey goes to Tatooine
Which
to Luke's
I
and home.
loved. I did. I
It's
loved that.
fine.
I
And then
did.
she sees them with their weird gray blue ghost thing, Leia and Luke out there, and they're like, "You did it." They don't say that. And some old woman comes out of the desert, because that happens, I guess, on Tatooine. Just walks out of the desert. Although I did appreciate you heard a Jawa say "Ootini," like when they first got there.
She must have just come from the Tashi station.
She was picking up power converters, and now she's home. So she goes there, and this old woman is just like, "Who are you? No one's been here in forever." And she says, "I'm Rey." And she's like, "What's your last name?" And she like looks and sees the ghost, and she's like, "Skywalker." And I'm like, "Fuck you." Bullshit.
Yeah.
Why isn't your name just fucking Rey? You're what? Madonna?
Yep.
Rey.
Beyonce.
Beyonce? Rey.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought that was unnecessary, but I did love
Jesus
her going to
Rey.
Come on, Jesus.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't like that. I didn't like her taking the name, but I did love the visuals of seeing her on Tatooine. I did.
And her burying the lightsabers in the sand.
For the next sequel.
For whenever people decide they want more of these.
Forever they decide that fucking Palpatine's not dead and they can make another trilogy.
I mean, that guy's going to die eventually.
Let's resurrect him again.
Well, you know how like J.J. Abrams didn't want to use like computer technology to make Leia be a character in this, so
Yes.
he used outtakes from Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
they don't have any such reservations, I bet, about Ian McDiarmid. So, fucking let Palpatine live forever.
I mean, they did it with Peter Cushing in the
Oh,
Rogue One.
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah. And they actually did it with Carrie Fisher once. Granted,
they
she was
did.
still alive for when
Yeah.
Rogue One was made,
Mhm.
but they made her 25 years old or however she was. Actually, she would have been 20 when she made Star Wars.
Yeah,
So,
she was 20. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are definitely things that are good about this, but I feel
I
like
liked
it's
Lando.
Oh, Lando!
now when he shows up out of like, I don't remember, is it John Boyega who's just like, I don't know what to do? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden Billy D. Williams is there. Is that the
Yeah.
first time he showed up?
Yeah, when he's in disguise, he scoops them up at that festival and gives them a hiding spot. in
Oh
his-
no, you missed
I
that.
must have missed that.
Oh yeah, the first time he shows up is they're at this cool, colorful festival, and then the First Order realizes that they're there and starts chasing them, and then someone says, "Quick, come this way, I'll help you." He, shoots a stormtrooper with like an arrow to the face and says, "Come here," and then it turns out it's Lando in disguise.
Ah, okay. So it's kind of like a throwback to Jedi when he was disguised as a guard.
Exactly, it is
Mm.
exactly that throwback.
Yes.
He makes some wisecrack about knowing Wookiees or something like that. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he shows up a couple more times in the movie. Although the last time, arguably the most creepy. It's just a
I
weird.
know, that was
line.
weird.
Are we talking about with the new character Jana, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Let's go find out who your parents
Yeah,
are."
she goes, "Where are you from?" And he says, "I'm from the Gold Galaxy." And then he's like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "I don't know," because she was kidnapped as a kid by the First Order.
By the way, I really liked that. I liked that her and Finn are talking about that. And it also, this shouldn't be so revelatory and groundbreaking, but seeing two black people in a Star Wars universe talk to each other was great.
Yeah,
Should not have been the first time.
that should be some type of new Bechdel test.
Yeah. Well, there's the Duvernay test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which based on Ava DuVernay and about people of color, specifically black people, talking to each other and about
Bingo.
So there we go. That passed.
Did this pass the Bechdel test? Did Ray talk to?
She
did
talks
Leia
to Leia. Yeah.
about like not dudes?
Yeah, about
Okay.
herself.
Okay.
Yeah, they talked about herself and her training.
Okay, all right.
So it does.
Wow, it passed the Bechdel test. Well, okay.
I'm shocked.
And I also really thought that this trilogy, I appreciate that Rey ends up being the main character.
Yes.
But I also thought there was going to be more John Boyega, generally speaking, and he just kind of
Yeah.
becomes a guy in this one. He's
Right.
like, "Oh, I'm also a general now because you said I am." You know?
And they never do anything. They bring up in conversation that he has force powers. He can sense things, but then
That's
they
right.
never actually do anything with him again with his force powers.
Yeah, hey, okay,
true.
studios, here's my plea to you. Stop setting release dates before you have a script, all right? Just let them fucking write it, and then you can have your goddamn committee go through it, and then be like, all right, it's coming out in 2023 because we at least have a working script. Instead of saying it's coming out in Christmas of 2019, and get to work, J.J. Abrams. So, anyway, there you go. I'm done ranting.
I would have really liked to have seen, and I know you guys are going to agree, but I really would have liked to have seen this film if another director had directed it, but not Colin Trevorrow.
No,
But yeah, but I'm curious what another
more
director.
like Trevor. No,
Nah. But I'm really curious what another director would have done. Like,
David Cronenberg.
ooh, that would have been interesting.
Wasn't David Lynch in the like in the running for Jedi? I think he was, right? I'm not making that up.
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
Somebody out there, please fact check me. But I'm pretty sure that Richard Marquand wasn't their first choice.
That's a fascinating choice if it was David Lynch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so.
yeah, but Dave, you mentioned something about taking risks, and I really, really appreciate that about Last Jedi, and I really wish that that trend had continued in this
Yeah,
one.
even if you're not a fan of Last Jedi, and lots of people are, what's wrong with new ideas? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, isn't that more fun to see something interesting?
Apparently not.
Well, I mean, the new stuff in this is the dumb stuff, the light speed skipping. I don't fucking care about that.
This is what
the
happens.
retconning of Leia having a lightsaber that she doesn't care to use.
This is what happens when you have fanboys making movies about the stuff they're fans of. It just doesn't. Who gives a shit? You know, it's like
I think you can still do a good job
I'm
if you're
sure
a fan
you
of
can, but
something.
not if you're J.J. Abrams. I've done enough bitching.
Do we have any final thoughts on Rise of Skywalker?
No, I think
We definitely spoiler piece the shit out of this.
We definitely did.
yeah, and we didn't linger too much in plot elements. We just
Yeah.
went all over the place.
The plot elements don't really matter,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
because you know
no.
what the end of the you know what the ending is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
yeah.
So, all right. Would we say see Rise
Oh,
of Skywalker?
no, but I mean everyone's going to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to see it to find out, right?
I
mean,
would say
it's
you
one of
have
those
to see
movies
it,
is where,
yeah.
like, even if you like listen to this and you believe us, you'd be like, well, I still gotta see it though.
I mean,
Yeah, I got to be able to participate in the conversation
correct,
about
right.
Star
I mean,
Wars.
and it is the end, arguably the end of a 42-year-old franchise. So whether it's really the end or not, it probably is not. But anyway, yes, you should see it for that reason, if no other. Don't go and see Cats. It's horrendous.
Mhm.
Go see Black Christmas. I didn't mention this earlier, but it also is incredibly diverse with a lot of women of color, and there's queer conversations, so it's inclusively feminist, which is great, and I love it. And it's a horror film, and it's awesome. So definitely go see Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. Oh, Evan
Gave
did.
you my heart
Yeah.
the very next day. You stabbed it away.
Yeah.
I
That
never get tired
Evan
of that.
regaled us with that one before we rolled, so I thought I'd bring it back.
I love it. I love that you brought it back. All right, so we hope you follow us. Find us on Twitter at SpoilerPiece. You can go to spoilerpiece.com.
Yep.
That's our website.
That is our website. You
Mm-hmm.
can call us.
At 862-21-PEACE, leave us a voicemail message.
That's right. You can email us at spoilerpiece@gmail.com.
That's
Yep.
right.
Find us on Facebook.
Spoiler Piece Theater.
Yep.
All right.
Although I
And-
really feel like changing it to Spoiler Poos Theater just because I
Just
like to
because.
mispronounce things.
You do.
I do.
That's true. And we are found anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And
Mhm.
please, please, please go and rate us. That really helps us out.
Yep. Helps people find the show.
Yes.
More people find the show. More people listen.
Exactly.
A
And
lot of people in Costa Rica lately, I want to add.
Costa
Oh, really?
Rica.
Interesting.
All
Yes.
right.
we've been getting a lot of listeners from France. I
Yeah.
would be curious if you listen to the show and you're from France and your name is not Daniel. We know, Daniel, you listen to the show, but I'm curious, other people in France, write us a note maybe and tell us how the hell you found the show.
We.
We'd really like to know.
Yes.
I'm Megan Kearns, freelance writer and film critic, editor of Bitchflix, and a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. And you can find me on Twitter at OpinionistWorld.
My name is Dave Riedel. I write for Salt Lake City Weekly, Orlando Weekly. I'm a member of BAFTA, and I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd as Dave Sees Movies.
And my name is Evan Crean. I am editor for The Independent, co-chair of BAFTA, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living. You can follow me on Twitter and on Letterboxd as Real Recon. And then I will insert one more plug for our Patreon. If you love the show, head over to patreon.com/spoilerpiece. Sign up for our tiers there. And for just a couple bucks a month, you get to vote in polls. You get to hear exclusive audio content, like this week's segment on An American Tale. And
Or you can tell us what movies to watch.
Yeah.
That's true.
there's a whole lot of fun to be had over there. And so toss a couple bucks and we'll make it worth your while.
Yeah. And we will see you on the Christmas show next week.
Yay!
Yay!
Christmas and Hanukkah.
Christmas and Hanukkah. Yes. The middle of Hanukkah and Christmas.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry I forgot that. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.